So hey everyone, welcome to today's video. And in this video, we'll be talking about the systematic investment plans or the SIPs. So these are the plans which are actually sold to the retail investors or the common people like you and me as a scheme to get rich certain in the long term. So in this video, we'll be talking about what is SIPs and what kind of returns to expect them in the long term. Second, we'll be talking about if they are actually going to make you rich. We'll be talking about certain factors like inflation, currency depreciation, and taxes, and how they are going to affect your portfolio and the market returns in general. And lastly, we'll be talking about if there are any improvements that we can make in our systematic investment plan investments so that we can achieve a higher rate of return, or is there any kind of strategy that we can adopt so that we can achieve a slight or maybe a higher returns as compared to what we can achieve as of now. So first, let's start with what are systematic investment plans. This plan is nothing but it is kind of a schedule of investing a certain sum of money in the market. So for example, in India, if we talk about, we can say that we have an systematic investment plans of investing, let's say, 20,000 rupees per month in the Nifty 50, which is the group of 50 best companies or the biggest companies in the Indian markets or the Indian stock exchanges. So this is on the higher level is the systematic investment plans, and these are generally used by the banks or the mutual funds industries to sell this plan to the common people so that they can invest some certain amount in the markets. And this is actually promoted by the government as well, because it is actually a easy way to invest in the markets, because you won't be directly investing in the markets by looking at different companies or different shares. Rather, you will be investing in certain kind of funds, maybe mutual funds or ETFs, or maybe in the debt related funds as well. For example, bonds, golds, etc. So there are a ton of funds where you can have an SIP started. So you can do SIPs in certain stocks as well, but mostly in general, if we talk, these are actually adopted by people who are not actively investing in the markets. Rather, they need a passive way to invest in the markets, and they used to give their money to some portfolio managers, which they on their behalf invest in the markets. So coming to the Excel or the calculations, if we have a look. So I have done this calculation based on a 10-year period. So for this video, I have taken the conversion rate from USD to INR as 85, just to make things simpler. So if we see that if we are investing in Nifty 50, which has given around 12% returns in the last 20 years, so 25 years, so we'll be taking that as a benchmark for the next 10 years as well. And one thing to keep in mind, that past returns does not guarantee the same kind of returns to be expected in the future. So just for understanding, let's discuss that. So I have taken the INR market returns to be 12% and the US market returns to be 10%, which is investing in S&P 500. So actual returns may vary a little bit, but just to have a context and taking things simpler. So if we look at the end of 10 years and we are investing consistently, which is 8,50,000 per year, and at the end of 10th year, we'll be having like almost 1.5 CR. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind. One is the inflation, and second is the currency depreciation. So, which we have seen a lot in the last 25 years against the US dollars. So there are two things that I wanted to talk about. So inflation. So first, let's start with inflation. So it is simply the the cost of goods that are going to rise in a year. So let's say you are buying something for, let's say, 100 rupees, and you have taken inflation as 4%. So by the end of the year, the price of that good is going to be increased to 104. And we have adjusted our rate of returns with the inflation for 4% as well. So that is going to eat a lot of our fortune. So it is coming down from 1.5 cr to almost 1.2 cr. And keeping one thing in mind is that if we are talking about the inflation adjusted returns, these are not going to be like 12 minus 4, which is 8%. So we have a certain idea about calculating this kind of returns, because inflation is something else and the market returns are something else. So if we look at the calculation, so it is going to be something like this. And if we have a look at our example for the market returns as 12 and inflation as 4%, so the inflation adjusted return is going to be around 7.7%. So like that, I have made the calculations. Now, on the other hand, if we have a look at the market returns of the S&P 500, which is the US markets, and I'm investing like 10,000 US dollars, which in current time is almost 8 lakh 50,000. Now, before getting into the returns, first let's discuss what is actually currency depreciation. So this is simply when a currency falls in value compared to other currencies. So in our case, INR is falling as compared to the stronger currency, which is the US dollar. Now, just a quick discussion about why does one currency fall as compared to other. So this includes like weak economic fundamentals and some kind of trade deficit, some kind of political issues, or maybe high rate of inflation. So these are the some of the factors because of which one currency falls as compared to other. And coming to US dollars, it is, I think, mostly compared with the gold. We'll be talking about this quantitative easing that actually happened in the global financial crisis 2007-8 in some other video. But now if we focus on the INR depreciation, so there are certain factors why does it happen. So first is going to be the inflation rates. If we look if at the inflation rates of the two countries in parallel, we'll see that the inflation in India is higher than the US. Second is the trade deficit, and this is like no brainer. India imports more than it exports, so to pay for imports, India needs USD. Second is the capital flows. So if you look at the foreign investors or the foreign institutional investors, we'll see that during the global uncertainties, the foreign investors actually pull out money from India, and they do invest that in the US markets, considering that them as safe. And that can be of various reasons, mainly because of the political stability, and because of the like, they think that it is safer to keep in the to keep the money in the US markets. Okay, so these were the main reasons about the currency depreciation and why it is happening. So for our case, I have put uh, the the INR depreciation as 3.5%, which we can see in the last 20-25 years of the data. So from this, what we can see is, if we are investing $10,000 or 8,50,000 in the US markets, it is around 1.5 CR. But on the other hand, if we have a look uh, at the US dollars investments, and we are investing like $10,000 consistently over 10 years, it will be like $160,000 at the end of 10th year, and will be so the US markets are giving less returns, which is around 10%, than the Indian markets, which is 12%. But considering the factor that INR will depreciate uh, mostly against the US dollars, we'll see that at the end of 10th year, it is around 115 compared to what is it right now, which is 85. We can see that the market adjusted return, this is like 1.8 CR, which is actually a significant difference. Considering inflation is higher in India, we can see after the inflation adjusted returns, we'll see that the net amount that we have at the end of our investment plan, which is a tenure of 10 years, will be will be having a good fortune if we invest directly in the US markets. So this is one of the discussion, and so this was our discussion, and this was the one point about the SIPs and how we can make a fortune better. So first point is, rather than investing in the Indian markets, we can have an SIP investing in some better global economies like the US. Now this is one. And the second point that I wanted to discuss is, we should not be hardwired to doing the SIPs at the second of every month, like most of the funds, or like this is the kind of stigma in the in the retail investors, that we should be doing SIPs every year, every month, or every year on a fixed kind of date. But what I'm saying is that we should also be taking benefit of the volatility in the markets. So in the long term, we can see in the stock markets that there are certain bull runs and there are certain bear runs. So if we look at the market in general, so we can see there are certain cycles, and there are bear runs, there are bull runs in the markets. And what I'm saying is, rather than investing every second of the month, what we should be doing is to capitalize on these certain dips in the markets. So if we just have a look in this certain period, we can see a huge dip, which is around like 2,000 points. And if we go deeper and deeper, we'll see that in certain months itself, there are certain dips that we can see. So if you just have a look at something like this, that is just a week, we can see, rather than investing at the top of this, we can invest like in these valleys or in these dips. So this kind of investments are going to actually boost our returns a lot, and not just in the short term, but we should be having some kind of extra cash that we can invest in the markets during some global crisis, like the COVID crisis that recently happened, and the global financial crisis. Or if we look at the yearly basis, there are certain announcements about some macro changes, global macro changes, like the GST rate changes uh, that have been announced recently. Some other changes like the Fed interest rate cuts, or 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 certain situations like the war that has happened in the Middle East, or the Russia-Ukraine war. So these are kind of the macro factors that we should be looking at, and we should have some kind of opportunity cash that we should deploy in the markets along with our SIPs, just to boost our returns a lot. So in summary, so that was the whole discussion about the SIPs. So we have covered like what are SIPs, and we had actually gone through the calculations about how things work, what kind of things affects your returns and what kind of returns to expect. And third, we have talked about certain factors like buying in the dips or buying in some other countries. So these are the factors that can actually boost your returns. So that's it for today. See you in the next one.